Well, it's time to get your pet questions answered live.
Look who's here for the first time in, what has it been, Carrie? Almost 2 years?
Right.
Yeah. Wow, Dr. Carrie Donahue from Full Circle Holistic Veterinary Care is here, and we're taking your calls today. It's a great day to call in. We have 4 lines open. At 608, you have to dial 608-270-9933, but we don't have Poppy today.
Yeah, where's Poppy?
Right, Poppy is resting comfortably at home, so
she doesn't like to travel in the car, right?
She really doesn't like going outside of her comfort zone.
Same.
So yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, it's really good to see you.
You too, really good to be here.
Let's go ahead and get to the phones, and we'll start with Ann in Sun Prairie. Hi, Ann, what's your question? Oh, there you go. Hi, Ann, what's your question?
Yes, I have a Shih Tzu, and she's all of a sudden started tearing Kleenex up and napkins or anything she can get, and her toys, and eating the stuff, eating it all. And now she started chewing her back foot. I don't know what's going on with her.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, that is something that you just kind of have to be careful about, because if they're ingesting things that they shouldn't, you know, the worst thing that could happen would be an intestinal blockage. So you really have to be on top of that and watch her and kind of, you know, take away any of those things that she might be chewing up and getting into. But one thing I might say is just increase her activity. And now with the weather warming up, it's easier to get outside and play and kind of tire her out that way, so she doesn't feel like she's got to get her energy out by eating things that she shouldn't.
Do they do that just because they're bored, or they're...
Sometimes, yeah, it's hard to say, but that could, I mean, that is a reason why they do that. They're just looking for something, and, you know, they find paper products and toys to chew, but the worst thing is if they actually ingest those things.
Right.
Well, we have another question. We have Wendy from Milton. What's your question?
Hi, I was wondering what I can do to get my dog from licking her feet.
Oh, okay.
Paws.
Yeah, and this is a common thing that we see this time of year because we're getting into spring allergy season. So there are grasses, there are pollens, trees, weeds, all of that stuff out there that if you're walking your dog, he is, you know, coming into contact with, and then they'll get inside and they might be irritated from those pollens and they'll start to lick. So the big thing that I recommend is whenever you come in from being outside, just using kind of like a sensitive skin baby wipe and wiping down his or her feet, getting in between the toes, getting anything off that might be sitting on the fur and causing the irritation.
And it's usually allergies, right?
That's the most common reason why dogs lick their feet, but another reason is just kind of like boredom or anxiety. They can focus on their feet, but this time of year, allergies are the big one.
All right, let's go to Jeannie in Fort Atkinson. Hi there, what's your question?
Hi, my dog has colitis more than not, and I'm just wondering if there's anything that can be done for that.
Well, colitis is just inflammation in the GI tract, and a lot of times that shows up as just kind of chronic soft stool diarrhea. Kind of a natural thing that you could do at home would be to add in probiotics, and probiotics are helpful in just kind of, you know, repopulating the GI tract with the good bacteria. Another thing that you could add in would be a little bit of extra fiber, and a good way to do that is adding in just canned pumpkin. And you can do a teaspoon up to a tablespoon of canned pumpkin with each meal, and that can kind of help if you're seeing that soft stool, that diarrhea consistently.
And how do you add probiotics? Is they just the ones we take over the counter, or there's special ones for dogs?
There are special ones for dogs. I mean, they share a lot of the same gut bacteria that we do, so it is safe to use a human probiotic for dogs, but they also have specific ones for dogs that you can find at almost any pet store.
Can you use yogurt?
You can use yogurt.
Okay.
And I would recommend just using plain, unflavored, full-fat yogurt and doing it in a small amount, like starting with a teaspoon. It doesn't have the same amount of good bacteria, but it's kind of a nice way to start to see if your dog will take that easily.
All right, good idea.
Well, up next we have Sue from Sauk City. What's your question, Sue?
Now I almost forgot the question. When dogs get anxiety, do they also get that diarrhea and stuff like that? Because I pet sit dogs, and when there's more than one here, they get anxiety. And just recently, I bought Proviable. I don't know how to pronounce it, and that helped with the diarrhea for one of them.
Okay.
So that was good.
Yeah, there is really a strong connection between anxiety for dogs and cats and kind of like that soft stool diarrhea as well. It's just inflammation, kind of systemic inflammation. When there's inflammation in the GI tract, that's when you get the diarrhea. So doing what you can to decrease stress is a great way to try to prevent that.
All right, let's try to get Steve in Madison on the line. Hi, Steve, what's your question?
My cat doesn't seem to want to eat his wet cat food, and I'm wondering what some reasons might be.
Yeah, cats are so finicky. You know, with what type of food they prefer. Some cats only want to eat canned food, some cats only dry food, and it is really good to get that moisture in whenever they eat. So if your cat only likes dry food, I would say just adding in some water or chicken broth so they get the moisture in with the dry food, because you might not be able to make that switch for them.
Should you give them both?
You can definitely do both, yeah.
But it doesn't, or just one or the other?
One or the other, but for cats, canned food or food that has extra moisture in is always better for them. So as much as you can, yeah, that's the thing to do.
All
Thank
right,
you so much.
We're all out of time. Thanks for your calls today, everybody. Carrie, we'll do this again soon. Good to see you. Give Poppy a hug for us.
Okay, I will do that.
And